Hello, this is Stefan with Warm Inside. Welcome.
In this image, you can see three models. The one in the middle is actually the one in this video. The one on the left is a PLA print of some modifications I made after I started playing with it the first time and kind of feeling it in my hands. The one on the right is a silicone casting of that model once all finished and smooth. And this is functional art.
Let's see how this goes. It's been a while. Back in Blender. What am I thinking about here? About 301. Cool. Been having a lot of fun making grinders and stuff like that lately. So I thought I'd try something here, a little new. Get rid of our default. Let's add a meta ball. Scale that bad boy up a little bit. Duplicate it. Oh yeah. So we got my keys going in this corner here. Grab that. We got two of them. Yep. See. Pull that. Say like that. Let's duplicate. Pull that over there. Oh, let's see. Duplicate. Pull that, say right there. Scale the heck out of it. Move it up a little bit. Move it over here. Cool, cool. One of the things I've talked about recently is toys that can hide in plain sight. Why can I not get that one? I want that one. Ah! Can't get that one. Interesting. Ah, there we go. This square? Yeah, or that circle? That's what I want. Cool. Move that. And so I was thinking about it, and I think we could do something like this. Oh, that's way too large. Let's scale that down a little. Bring it back down. Gonna eliminate that. I'm gonna pull one more of these. Pull it there and scale it up a little bit. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna take all of these, convert it to a mesh. Woohoo! And there we go, we got a mesh. Let's see what's it look like. Ew, it's ugly. Alright. And then let's go into sculpt mode and start sculpting. The first thing I was thinking is, what if we had some kind of like, I don't want to say animalistic, I don't want to say animal names, but let's just say some alien creature that looks kind of like fun. Let's see, let's remesh this bad boy. Get it there. Take it into a softing smooth, big radius, low strength. Get it all looking nice. The dyno on, or put the mirroring on until we get our basic, well, until we get our final shape that I really like. Awesome. I am going to take this one step further. Object mode. Take that object just above the plane. Where's the go? Okay. Back to sculpt mode. So I know that I'm going to cut the bottom of this off, but I'm trying to kind of leave it there for now. Get it cleaned up. Okay. Let's see. Because our aliens, because my alien is kind of a Earth-like alien, I guess, for lack of a better term. I'm going to give it some eyeballs. Let's see right there. Make make these big stand out. Yep. By the way, if you're watching, I am doing this with the mouse right now. I could probably do it with the stylus and all that stuff, but I'm just having fun. Let's see. Let's give it some more facial more features here. Some heavy. There. I like to block things out much, very heavy when I'm doing this kind of level. Reason being is I know that as I go I will probably soften it a little. Let's grab plastic deformed, larger. Okay. Yep. And then I'm gonna do something really wild here, just because I can. Let's do the no. Let's do this. Nope, didn't want that last one. Let's undo that last one. Go to grab. So I'll kind of see if I can bring this whole structure like up a little bit. I do want to keep it separate from the main body. I want it to have a little bit of a, there you go. Like that. Okay. Come in, let's smooth this. Ooh, too much. Take the strength down, radius down a little bit so I can come in here. Oh, I don't like that. Let me see here. Some pixel cleanup might help us. Yeah, that did it. Okay. Cool. Pull this down below the plane so that when I cut it off it doesn't leave something really nasty that I don't like. I'm going to give it some gnarly, fun texture up in here. So let's see if I take this, think of it like veins in the head. That is way too thick for what I was thinking. Let's take this down to a 25. Again, the main goal here is to just add some texture. Okay. Let's smooth these eyes out a little bit. Cool. Then thinking I'll crease in here. yeah. That's interesting. Let's give it a big raise right up at the top here. Ooh, not like that. Bigger radius. There you go. And what we're doing is creating an area that will hold a pad here in just a sec. So I'm not just blindly making things here. A little bit of this. Give it some. Ooh, too much. Less strength, lower radius. Okay. Adding a little depth along those nostrils. There we go. And now, I actually was looking at this. I think I want to pull this. Let's see, can I pull this? How does that look? Maybe that's less interesting. Pull this. There we go. And then we can take a crease. Crease it in right there. Crease in there. Kind of like that. Come in and add another little layer here. Ooh, too much. 25. So the funny thing is, like, this art stuff for me is the easiest part. Like, once you get this done, then the real work. I mean, and again, I'm not super talented, so I'm not knocking people who are amazing artists, right? Just for me, the creative process is the fun part. The actual part that contains, like, feels like work, right? I mean, let's just be honest. It's like when it's not your pleasure point, when it's not what you really enjoy, that's when you start feeling the. Did not do that right. That's when you start feeling the real big. Yeah, there we go. That'll do it. That's when you start feeling the pain of doing the job a little more. It's like, ugh, that's so harsh. And that really kicks into me after the artistic part. The artistic part to me right now is fun. And not to say I don't enjoy it or I hate the rest of it, but this is the part that it really excites me. But then comes the trouble of making your mold, finishing your mold, getting it textured right, getting it sealed, getting all that stuff done. And that's where things really start to slow down. So if you're interested in doing this kind of thing, keep that in mind. Like, for people like me who enjoy the creative process in its own right, this is it just gets harder. Interesting. I think I'm too low. Oh no. I'll have to pull all that up. Not deform. I want that one. Big brush. Maybe a little strength. Bigger brush. Can I get it all? Cool. Okay, now we're going to add some of these. Yeah, I don't know. If you're thinking about getting into this as a business, I can tell you right now is a hard time. Most of the people I'm hearing from, talking to, and watching, there's a few phenomena going on. Some people have noticed that there's a little bit of money in it. Not a lot, not a lot. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like this level of toy making, the adult toy making on an indie level, you're not going to get filthy rich most likely. I mean, it could happen. There's a couple companies that have probably done really, really well and made a lot of bread. But what we're seeing is that our traditional sales, or some of the traditional sales areas, such as Etsy, is not cracking down on the counterfeits and copies. So we have companies coming in from China and directly stealing, or yeah, I'm going to just say it, directly stealing designs, right? Whether it's they literally are making a copy or clone of the model that they like, right? I don't know, they acquire a copy somehow, they buy it, whatever, and then literally just start mass producing something like it, or sometimes exactly it. We're seeing an economy slow down, which is causing some people to see less sales. Luckily, I've been blessed. I mean, my toys are on the cheaper side, so I tend to I'm probably not getting hit nearly as bad as some of the larger people. And even they said they're not doing horrible, but it's just like they've noticed a considerable downturn in the amount of sales, right? So when you're making very little revenue, I'm not saying they're broke or anything like that. Just be clear. Little is relative term. When every dollar counts, you lose a dollar, you feel it. So when they're saying is they're feeling a little bit of those dollars heading out, right? Not being as prominent as they were before. And so we're starting to see some of that in the market. We've seen some really aggressive copyright stuff that even people using copyright to claim copyright on stuff that they didn't create, right? Like you get some large business coming after some small indie who's selling a couple thousand toys a year or more, or less, and saying, hey, you're copywriting on us. The world tends to support them and crap on the little guy. I had one of my models pulled off Etsy that I completely designed, 100% my design, nothing like it. If you want to go check it out, it's called the Alpha. I've never seen anything even similar to it, and somehow it got pulled off Etsy, and I'm not sure. And Etsy doesn't, by the way, just if you ever deal with this, Etsy does not tell people what they did wrong. Like, if you do something wrong, you're just screwed. Like, Etsy's not going to help you. Etsy doesn't care. Etsy is not your friend. Like, they do allow some businesses to exist. They give us a platform, but like at the end of the day, they care about who's going to pay the most money. And if some large company is going to come in and do that, they have shown that they are willing to let the little guy get shafted, right? Which is sad because that's what they were founded on, was the little guy, right? I remember following them I'm a tech guy, so I've followed them for a long time. And the whole, we produce a platform for people to sell on that, our creators, our individuals, are people who are doing cool stuff, and we're going to give them, a way to prosper in this environment, and it seems like they're kind of backing off that a little bit. I don't know for sure, but I just do know that we're seeing more and more mass-produced stuff on Etsy. We're seeing less and less. Ooh, no. Seeing less control by them as far as shutting down bad actors, stuff like that. So, who knows? I know a lot of shops are trying to build their own, but I don't know if you know this. It's crazy. I'm a fairly conservative person, but I don't care what people do wherever. I shouldn't say conservative. I'm a libertarian. I'm not conservative, that's for sure. But it was crazy to me to find out that all these woke companies, all these companies that are all liberal ideas and high and minded, and actually refuse these in companies that are they refuse to process transactions for adult stores, right? You sell a dildo and they will refuse. They will kick you off, right? They've done some, in fact, I've heard some pretty shady stories, like where they've actually just taken people's money and said, sorry, you're against our terms of service. We are keeping your money and shutting down your account, which is crazy to me that they can even do that. But hey, I've seen enough crazy things in my life to totally believe that that's something that could happen. But yeah, I don't know. It just is wild to me to think that in this day and age that would be something that, like, general purpose retailers get. I mean, like, I get religious people or religious companies objecting on religious moral grounds, but like, it's really odd how the adult industry is something that they're all making money off. All these credit card companies, they're making all this money, but they've set up the system so that unless you go through certain channels, you really have a hard time. I'm really shocked that Etsy allows toy sellers, but they do. It's cool. As far as hosting companies, like, a lot of them won't allow you to won't work with you, won't allow you to do things. I've learned that there's a few that are actually okay with it. That people are, if you, I look at, like, whenever I go to a new shop or check it out, I look a lot to see where they're running, right? Like, what's their web platform, and you can figure out which vendors are friendly to your adult toy makers, right? And again, like, yeah, once you get large enough, you can get all kinds of stuff, right? But if you look on Etsy, I would say, and if you talk to adult toy vendors, I would guess that the most of them are making less than 1,000 toys a year in the indie space, right? Like, if you're talking big ones, that's a whole different story. But in the indie space, I would guess that most, not all, I mean, there's a few that are really making more than 1,000 toys a year, but the average is probably making less than 1,000 toys a year. I really don't understand what happened with these eyes. I do not like that. I feel like there's something wrong there. Is it just it's like a push button right there, and I don't like it. Let's see. Just cannot. Oh, there we go. No. It must be a geometry issue. Let's see here. Don't see it. Interesting. So yeah. Again, grinder. Really basic. Really nothing like earth-shattering in design, but here's where it does work for me. this is what I was going for, and this is why I think I like what I've got here. I think it's going to take a little bit more refining, but the idea is, it's funny. Interesting. So the idea is that we've now created something that could potentially sit on a shelf in somebody's house in plain sight, and if somebody saw it, they would have most likely, I mean, nothing's guaranteed in these kind of spaces, but really need it to go there, and that's too far. So let's see, what can I do? Actually, what I can do is I can do this. Elastic deform, pulling this stuff down. I want to inflate these a little more. Hey, I didn't intentionally add this feature. It was funny. I was actually thinking like arms, and somehow I feel like it wound up more like ears, and I am actually 100% fine with that. So I just, sometimes you're working along on something and you notice what happened, and you're like, oh, that's actually not bad. I like that. If I'm going to make that ears, I probably want to pull this up a little bit here. Oh, no. I probably should have done a deform. Let's do a deform. Yeah, there we go. Pull it forward this way. Push in that cavity a little bit. No. That did not do it. Holding the shift key. Let's see, can we get that in there? Constantly keeping in mind what that's going to look like when you put it in a mold, how it's going to demold, what kind of design choices you need to make. On the back, I no longer like this push out here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know, fun, crazy world. If you're an indie toy fan, consider supporting your shop. I mean, I know that's a little bit self-serving, but you probably don't even know who my shop is if you're looking at this. It's possible. I don't do a lot to promote it. I mean, I guess I do say the name of it, but these videos are more just for fun, and the more I play with this kind of stuff, the better I get at it, and in the end, I think it will benefit everybody. So I'm looking there to make myself more productive and kind of sharing the journey with you as I go. If you learn, awesome. That be my goal. If you decided you wanted to come pick up a toy, awesome. But more than anything, I'm here to see if you can learn. Actually, to see if I can teach you. I don't know if you, whether or not you can learn is probably not as dependent on you as it is dependent on my skills to do something useful. Okay, I think that all works pretty well. I could probably crease this in a little bit here. Give it a little more separation. Cool. Like a little, I don't know, alien creature. I'm not even going to say anything else other than that because I don't want to determine, or I don't know yet what it is. So, that's cool. That's cool. Need to, let's see here. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. And this is where things get scary. I come along here, pick that level to cut things off it. And I obviously it's not too scary because we can always undo it, but it is scary. And actually that's pretty amazing if you ask me. So let's just remesh this one more time. Make sure that bottom looks good. Everything there is awesome. Got some nice big bumps on the trunk. And then, let's see here. This one? Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's go back here. That's what I want, matte cap. So just see if we can get a better. No, sorry. Keep hitting the wrong silly button. That is awesome. If I could get something like that going, oh man, that would be freaking amazing. Okay. File, save as, let's call it the in the open grinder. And I version everything because I play with it and do all kinds of fun stuff, so I like numbers on there. Whoa. I'm horrible with cameras and Blender. I know there's a better way to do this. I should figure it out, but I just gonna play real quick. What do I get? Oh no, I'm off. There's a, which one? That one. No. I thought there was a way to do this from inside your view of the camera. Probably is. I should learn the camera better, but cool. I'll end up with nothing because I don't have anything. Well, probably one thing that's missing is a nice light. probably isn't worth me playing with, but you can kind of see it. Cool. If I was to have some fun when I'm making this, I could paint the eyes in there a little bit. Paint directly in the mold. The advantage of these grinders like this is you can paint directly in the mold, and then you can very easily dump or pour on top of that. So you paint a little bit of the eyes, paint it, and just making sure that it's not fully cured before you throw the rest of the silicone in there, and you wind up in a situation where you can wind up in a situation where you see some really nice designs, but don't risk delamination. Okay, one last thing I'm going to do. Add a mesh, a cube, scale it up, scale it on the Z, move it up. I'm going to change that material back to something that I can actually deal with. Let's see there. Scale it on the X. Whoa, too far. And that be good. Scale it on the Y. Wait, I did the wrong button. Scale it on the Y. There we go. Just beyond the ears. Yep. Scale it. Scale it on the Z. Bringing it right there. See how far off I am. Move this up to just right there, and then take this face, edit mode, face select. Let's see, go on the Z, G for go, by the way, in case you're wondering what I was talking about. Here, G on the X. Ooh, why are you not doing it? That face select, right? GX. Oh, see there, right there. G on the X. Whoa, G on the X. I was scaling for some reason. Okay, right there. That's probably all good. And if we really wanted, try to think how much I want to do this. Edge select this. Select nothing. I don't want that, and that. And then take a bevel. And we just reduce the amount of material we need. Then we take, back in object mode, we take that. No, we take that. Boolean. Select the object is the M ball. Turn off the M ball. Oh, look at that. We have a beautiful negative of our design. So then we can file, save as. Which is all fine and dandy or whatever. But what really we want to do is export STL. Whoops, I got it? Yep. File, export STL. The select only, apply the modifiers, and export that. Now we go here. Oh, sorry, not there. I'll Prusa slicer because that's what I use. Oh yes, I know there's a new version. I will get it soon. really like them. Fine, I'll send them. I'll grab that later. Alright, got it. File, import, imperial units, the grinder negative. What? That is not going to work. Outside of print area, no kidding. Let's see. Fill bed with instances. No, that's not what I want. I want to scale to the instance. Oh man. My computer's about to melt. Scale to print volume. And we'll go from there. And let's see, we'll select that. Put that side down. Oh, look at that. So now we have a rather large object. I think it's actually too large still. So I'm going to scale it down to 20%. No, 15%. Cool. This is a Prusa i3 we're printing this on, so what is that getting us in it? That's a 6 inches. I mean, it winds up with a 5-inch grinder. That's pretty good, pretty good. And then I want ASA. I've actually learned that I can get away just fine with a quality there. And then an infill like that. We're going to set the infill here. Adaptive cubic, I think is what I want. I've been playing around with these, and you can cut back times a lot, but if you do it wrong, it can really create you some problems. Awesome. Let's look at what our support infill looks like. Oh, it's good, good solid. I tried using one of the other infills the other day, and it just broke in the middle of it. Like this piece had so little support between the two layers that it was crazy. Save project, grinder negative, save, yep. Let's see, what else do we need? I think that's it. 11 hours. That's a long time, but I guess it is a big thing. 135 grams of filament used. So yeah, I mean, $6, if I can get this to work in a negative like that, then that would be awesome. And we'll save that. And let's see here. That is it. I'm going to print that up and we'll see where we can go from there.